Hello, and if you're watching this, let me be the first to say congratulations, because that means your loupes are now in production. Now would be a great time to talk about a key feature that's exclusive to LumaDent loupes, and that's Vario WD. But before we get into that, it's important to remember that your loupes are bespoke instruments of precision that are made specifically for you and your working distance. Now, hopefully that was measured during the fitting process. Loupes are designed to give the best focus and clarity at a specific focal distance. Now, usually this focal distance is fixed to the same length as your working distance in order to give you maximum clarity in your most comfortable working position. However, we know that sometimes things change. Maybe you want to start standing when you practice, or maybe you even get LASIK so your eyesight changes completely, therefore changing your working distance. In these scenarios, how are you going to change the focal distance of your loupes to match your new working distance? Well, that's where Vario WD comes into play. So once you receive your loupes, the first thing we recommend you to do is check out one of our videos that describes how to most comfortably fit the loupes to your face. And we'll provide the link to that in the description below. The next thing you're going to want to do to test your loupes is go ahead and put them on. And you're going to want to look at an object at your normal working distance, even if that's just your thumb or your hand. If the image you see is slightly blurry or out of focus, we can use Vario WD to dial the focal distance back in line with your working distance. Start by slowly moving your hands away from your eyes. Now, if they go past your working distance and the image starts to sharpen, we have to use Vario WD because your focal distance is too long and we need to shorten it. In the same sense, if you're moving your hands closer to your eyes and the image sharpens, that means the focal distance is too short and we need to lengthen it. You'll notice some markings here on the barrels of your loupes oculars. Now, these are to guide which direction you need to turn the barrels in order to adjust the focal distance. You can turn the barrels clockwise towards the negative symbol to shorten the focal distance, or you can turn the barrels counterclockwise towards the positive symbol to lengthen the focal distance. So, while you're looking at an object that's placed at your work distance, you simply just have to turn the barrels in the appropriate direction to either shorten or lengthen your focal distance so the object is focused and clear. There's a couple of important things you have to remember when using the Vario WD feature on your new LumaDent loupes. Now, one of the things you may have noticed is that whenever I'm rotating a barrel, I'm actually holding the ocular by the prism housing, just like this. Now, we do that so we don't put any unnecessary pressure on the glue, which holds the ocular in place. Also, it's generally easier if you close one eye and you fine-tune the focal distance of each ocular one at a time. Finally, it's important to remember that when we change our focal distance significantly, it takes a few moments for our eyes to adjust. So when you're fine-tuning your focal distance, make sure to go slow and in small increments so you don't overcorrect and miss your perfect point of focus. The higher the magnification, the more important this tip is, as the higher magnification you have, the smaller your range of focus. And that's everything you need to know about Vario WD. If you've never owned loupes before, then you've just taken the first step into making your practice as precise as possible. And if you have owned loupes before, we're excited that you get to try this exclusive LumaDent technology. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact us, and thank you again for making the brighter choice.